The Galaxy S23 Ultra is Samsung's latest flagship for 2023, and I had a chance to check it out a little bit early, so I wanted to give you guys my impressions versus the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now, side by side, there isn't a lot that's different on the surface, but there are a few things underneath the hood that we gotta talk about. I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja, and let's talk about the differences between these two phones. One of the best ways to help the channel if you're looking to pick up one of these phones is using my link down below. I do get kickback, but you also get special pricing from that link down below too. Check it out if you're interested in picking up the phone. Now, as soon as you put both phones in the hand, there is a noticeable difference how the S23 Ultra feels. Its sides are slightly chamfered, so it makes it easier to hold. So even if you're looking at form factors like on paper, they are very similar, but the S23 Ultra is going to feel a bit more comfortable when you're actually holding it. Now, both phones are built like a tank, and there's absolutely no denying that, but they're still sleek, which is pretty amazing. Now, they both feature an armor aluminum chassis, but on the S23 Ultra, you find Corning's Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and also the back. It's a step up from Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on last year's model. This is said to be the strongest material for any phone ever. Okay, let's talk about the display. Up front, both phones have an identical 6.8-inch 120Hz AMOLED 2X curved panels. They're exactly the same resolution and also sport the same peak brightness at 1750 nits. To be honest, Samsung has always had one of the best screens out there for a very long time, so it's no surprise that there's nothing else to change. You know, video, TV shows, Last of Us, by the way, great show, movies and text, all looks great on the screen. And then you pair that with their stereo speakers or their link buds, and my opinion, there's not much better you can do right now, I guess. It's a great experience. Now, there are also new colors to the phone. You have Titan Black, Cream, Green, and Lavender. Now, if you do want more colors, my sponsor Dbrand for around 20 bucks can hook you up. You can get some super unique colors. I like the concrete, and you can add some grip to the back. And you can also stylize the device the way you want, and there's also a grip case, which I actually like. So make sure you hit the links down below to Dbrand your device. So as of today, the software experience is very similar. You have One UI 5.1 on the S23 Ultra and 5.0 on the S22, and they're both on Android 13. I'm sure the software will be on the same version number pretty soon, but as of right now, both experiences are very similar. The S23 Ultra does have a few more features, but I have a feeling those will come to the S22 Ultra, so not going to talk about that as a comparison just yet. I think one of the differences that really does matter is going to be the newest Snapdragon chip. This is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 made for Galaxy. Now, quite honestly, when using it day to day, that's something you're not going to truly notice because they're both amazing chips. But where you should see a big difference will be battery life, how more it's optimized for the S23 Ultra. And also when it comes to gaming, you should have a cooler experience overall. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 did overheat, no arguments here, but the Gen 2 made for Galaxy should actually prevent it from overheating. And the testing I've done so far, it stays relatively cool when playing games for a while, especially PUBG, a game that's not optimized pretty well. It's actually running cooler than it did on the Gen 1. Now, of course, I'll be doing some deeper testing in my full comparison video. As I said, this is kind of a quick video, so make sure you subscribe for that. Now, there is a difference in storage configuration as well, with the Ultra now starting at 256 gigabytes of storage and with 8 gigabytes of RAM compared to 128 on the S22 Ultra. So we have to talk about cameras. That is a big difference this year for the S23 Ultra. And of course, we have new sensors, but that processor should help with images too. But first, let's talk about the big step in the optics department. The Galaxy S23 Ultra, you get a 200 megapixel primary sensor compared to the 108 found on the S22 Ultra. That means you'll capture more details in photos, you can zoom in better after the fact, and all those great things. The S23 series also features improved low-light photography and more options for raw photos, now available at 50 megapixels. The telephoto lenses are two 10 megapixel sensors. Those are the same, and the ultra wide is 12 megapixel, and that's the same too. But up front, it's actually a downgrade, if you will. It's a 10 megapixel sensor compared to 40 megapixels on the S22. Now, obviously, number-wise, it is a downgrade, but now it's a dual pixel sensor, so it should make the front-facing camera more natural, and it should look a lot better in low light. When doing a very quick comparison, I could see the difference between both lenses. Flipping back and forth, on surface they look the same, but once you punch in, you can definitely see the difference. When it comes to low light, there's a pretty good trade-off on the S23 where I think it actually looks better overall. And speaking of a feature that's pretty useless, I guess, the S23 Ultra can now shoot at 8K 30 frames per second instead of 24 frames per second. Now, something that's also improved is social media optimization. So things like Snapchat and Twitter uploads now have better quality on the S23 Ultra compared to the S22 Ultra. Max Weinbach, looking at you. Now, that being said, the power source of all of it stays the same. It has a 5,000 milliamp battery featuring super fast wired and fast wireless charging 2.0, as well as reverse wireless charging for all the phones across the Galaxy S22 and S23 lineup. And that's really it when it comes to the differences. I mean, I'd say the S23 Ultra is, an increment over the S22 Ultra, which was an increment over the S21 Ultra. So in my opinion, I don't think if you're coming from an S22, going to an S23 doesn't make sense. But if you are coming from like S20 Ultra, S21, or even the Note 20, then of course, this is gonna be a great upgrade for you. I always say year over year, it doesn't make sense. You should always wait an extra year. But anyways, guys, this was just a very quick comparison between these two phones. I'm gonna do a deeper dive a little bit later when I have more time with the phones, and also have some great other videos popping up right now. Kevin the Tech Ninja, have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Peace.